Hey, Oliver.
Hey, what's going on? Oh, let me close my door here real quick. So, Jason, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Living the dream. Living the dream.
Um, if you could start by, I wasn't able, like I went to the first practice, so I was wondering if you could, I know it's like basically an extended spring practice period here, but if you could give me like a two deep a week or two in, how's
Okay.
it looking for
Uh,
your position?
okay. So, sitting right now, put my so money, Bo and Young going 1 and 2, basically splitting reps at one. Um, Edwards has been out, but Blowers and Edwards will be rolling the 2 reps, and then Devin at will, Devin, Ferguson, and Davis. At Mike, Brohard, Marsh, Jackalone, and at Sam, Milton, Bowles been running 2, and then Dylan Grant at 3.
Okay. Last time I spoke with you, we talked a little bit about bowls, but I wanted you to talk more about he was a safety in high school. How does that translate to what you guys want? I'm sorry, Nimi and his time there. So how does that translate into what you guys want him to do?
He's playing that Sam position's kind of got to be a jack of all trades. You got to be able to cover guys. You got to be able to cover out. You got to be able to come in the box. You got to be able to play man. You got to be able to blitz. I mean, you got to do basically everything in our defense at that position. Um, so his intelligence is big. Being a quarterback, I like the thing that I kind of like, and Coach Martin and myself agree on this completely. Is I like former quarterbacks. Like on defense, I think it's something that they can, if they're physical, that's something that can be really a positive to it. And so with him, it translates. His safety play is going to help us just playing man because he's played so much man at Nemi and understanding where he needs to be. His quarterback acumen kind of helps him with just understanding what an offense is trying to do. So both of those lead to good aspects. So his high school career quarterback helps him, in
Yeah.
understanding, and then playing at Nemi just kind of helps him the defensive part of it.
Did you know about him or see him in high school at Roswell?
Yeah, I loved him. In fact, if he had played, I told his coach if he had played any defense in high school, I probably would have offered him. But sometimes you get to and it's not just New Mexico in general, but a lot of high schools, if you're the quarterback, you ain't playing anything else. And I think that's where it kind of got handicapped. So everything with him, in fact, I told him when I saw him in high school, it was all, I said, I can't do anything with you right now just because it'd be a projection, and at the time, I think his year coming out, we were possibly signing one. I don't even think I signed one in that class. So it would have been a projection, at best. And it's no fault of the high schools. It's no fault of Felton's. It's no fault of the coach or anything. It's just kind of the nature of the beast when a guy is a one-way player, and it's a straight projection. We possibly have a scholarship, possibly don't. So it all worked out, after the first year, and then we take 3 last year. So
How was he in Nimi? Like, was he all over the field? Was he
oh, they
productive?
loved him. Yeah, Coach Forstner loved him. I mean, he would bug me, and Coach Forstner's a friend of mine, so we talk, probably weekly, and he would just bug me every time we talk. He would bug me about it every single time. He's like, he's the best football player we have. He's like, best football player we have, best football. I mean, just over and over and over again, and workout videos and him lifting and all those things, and you just couldn't say enough good things about him. So me knowing him in high school, talking to him in high school, and then it kind of carrying over until he got to Nemi, and then his tape showed up, and it was a done deal from there.
What do you like about him physically at that position? Like,
He's deceptive because right now he's a little light. He's going to get heavier. Coach Decker will do an awesome job with him in the weight room, and he'll get heavier and he'll get a little bit more powerful. But his pretty good understanding of leverage is pretty paramount. I mean, he knows where guys are going to be just based on him playing. So that initially is the big thing. He's still got to get a good feel. He's a ways away just in terms of understanding the run game and things like that, like where to fit, some of those aspects. But he's picking up a lot of stuff pretty quickly. So
so if the games that you guys have scheduled, he's among the players that he can practice, but he wouldn't be allowed to play in those games, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I don't know if I missed this or misunderstood it, but I think after that first practice, Coach Martin brought up like Eli. I don't know if Dalton was among them, but was there a pretty fast turnaround? Like guys are still kind of like physically meeting people, right? Like, was that the first
Oh
time
yeah.
some of the teammates had laid eyes on some of these guys?
Yeah, I mean, because we were in quarantine and things like that. So it's kind of one of those unique examples where, the 8th through the 22nd, we're sitting there, everybody's kind of sitting by themselves, unless, some of those in-state guys like Overview and Bowles, they weren't in quarantine, so they were kind of floating around a little bit more. Um, and both of those guys are living with people on the team, so that's the other thing that kind of helps them out. So it in that aspect, possibly meeting everybody, yeah, because that was the first team segment that we'd all been together,
Okay.
since a long time, since August, really.
Defensively as a whole, can you speak to just you guys have pieces coming back at various levels on all the levels of defense, but are you going to be a if you had to play this like next month or something, it's a pretty inexperienced defense, isn't it?
I mean, there is some holes here and there, but it's kind of weird because when I think about it, we're like an old young group, as
Mm-hmm.
oxymoron as that is. Like we're really old at some positions, and then we're going to be fresh at others. And I shouldn't even say young because it's going to be older guys that step in there. But um, overall, I think that it's going to be a experience wise, it's going to be kind of 50-50. There's going to be guys, like Coach talked about, there's 40, when we play in the fall, there's going to be 40 new scholarship players on the team,
Yeah.
which is crazy. I mean, you're talking about half of your scholarship guys, and it's not because guys are leaving or guys are opting out or whatever. It's just you got 2 recruiting cycles, and with our situation just kind of getting backed up, it's a great part. It's actually a really good problem, to be honest,
Yeah.
because you got new guys, but you still have a good group of older guys in there to kind of lead them and show the way. And that's the thing that stood out with this group so far is the leadership wise. I mean, just taking accountability for themselves and for each other. That's been pretty paramount.
Who has stood out to you the first 2 weeks of practice here?
And in terms of play,
Yeah. In terms
um,
of, and it can be any level of the defense I'm talking about. I know you coach the linebacker specifically, but
well, I
is
think
there
in my room, I
anybody?
mean, Devin and Brohard have been doing a really good job. Taylor Milton's been making a lot of strides. I mean, he's been getting better every day with it. Mike Bose, he's got some
Yeah.
tools to work with. I just got to get him, running running what we need to run because he has a tendency to ad lib a little bit. Uh, you know, Jason Simmons, kind of same old suspects to it. They've been doing a
Okay.
good job. Uh, DJ McCullough stood out at corner. He's a guy that I think that we're going to be able to count on here later on. So it's going to be fun. I know Damani Williams. The good thing is there's a lot of names. It's not like I'm going, there's a lot of names that are popping up, that are making plays. And we're still a long ways off. Like we're not close, but these guys, for as rusty as they should be, they're really knocking the rust off faster than expected. So
Bo was injured like early, right? His first spring
his first,
practice.
yeah, when he got here, because I'm trying to think, we signed him in the spring of 19. So the fall of 19, we redshirted him. He had shoulder done
Older.
in the spring, and then he redshirted that first year. And so really what would have been his first year was last fall.
Okay.
And, so it didn't give him a chance. Kind of gave him the COVID actually worked out in his favor because he's back stronger than he was before. He's got great mobility in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes those guys with those types of injuries take a little bit longer to come back, but he's really showed a lot of progress coming back.
Coach Martin has talked about in the past that, comparing when, 2017, he talks about a lot. That particular year, you guys got after the quarterback, and a lot of it seemed like came from the front seven. What do you have to do to get back to that in that particular group of players?
We just got to get our mindset back to aggressiveness. And I mean, we look at the last 2 years, we're playing on our heels. I mean, quite a bit, and that's both coach and player wise. I mean, just kind of, not, I don't want to say it's comfortability in the spot, But it's guys just understanding, hey, this is what we got to do, and how we got to approach things and go about things. I think that's the main thing. It's just getting the aggressive mindset back, and we're going to be aggressive, and this is what we do. But
Okay.
it's just being smart about it, and that's the aspect that our guys can't worry about. Well, I got to do somebody else's job. It's more along the lines that I got to be in a position to go and do my job. Point one, and then anything extra is bonus.
Thanks, Oliver.
Good.
Thanks, man.
All right. We'll see you, Jason. Be good.